So now that we've gotten the file management and project management out of the way, I wanted to cover again some shortcuts and how to like do basic things in Reaper, such as like importing an audio file. So what we could do is just clicking the insert button as a shortcut here. I can click on the files I want added. And if I'm selecting more than one, I can select whether or not I want them at the same time, positioned on separate tracks, on the same track but in sequential order, or as if they were like let's say you had 3 takes of like one line and they're the same take. I can import those 3 files and it makes the other two basically take lanes for that clip. So here we go. Same position but 2 different tracks is what I'm going to select here. So now what I can do is if I wanted, I can go ahead and I can actually move these clips. I can make them bigger by using my Control Shift and my scroll wheel. I can also do another zoom feature where I just hold Control in my scroll wheel and it does all of them, as you can see here. Alt in my scroll wheel to allow me to zoom in and out. And if my project is really big, I can use my Shift and my scroll wheel to go left and right. If I have an audio clip and I'm just using one, as you can see here, I can drag it around. And if I needed, I could highlight the 2 clips and I can move them together, shift clicking them. Okay, so that is a basic movement in importing some files in. We actually can also drag and drop clips. So if I were to go back to my downloads folder and then where I got those clips from, I can actually just grab them and directly drop them in as well. I can do that. Okay, so that's putting in some clips, importing some clips. Now, if I wanted to edit these said clips, I'm just going to delete these for now. What I can do is the following. I'm going to go ahead and shift click all these. I can zoom in and I can select the clip here. And what I can do is I can resize these, make them a little bigger for me. I can select a clip and click E and it will zoom it in. It'll make that channel bigger. Click E again, it zooms out. I can do the following edits when I have the multi-tool selected. I can move my cursor here above the middle line and I can cut on both sides. If I move my cursor further up, I can add fades. I can then right-click the fades and change their shape to my liking. Whatever sounds best for you, you will be able to use and experiment with. And if I want to move the clip, moving the clip actually is done by when your cursor is below the middle line. You'll see my cursor changes. So my select tool with the little razor blade and my move tool right there. Okay, so that is essentially how the edits work and how you can be really fast in Reaper. It's actually to deal with just how you position your mouse. So if I have to move these said files, I have to move them right there. Right there, just move that. Make sure my cursor's below the middle line and then selecting if I need to make an edit. Okay, that is the Smart tool. If I want to make these cuts here, I'm just deleting with my backspace. But if I wanted to as well, if I wanted to split these, let's go ahead and zoom in on this bad boy here. I can click B, and that'll actually do my splits for me. What I could also do is I can use shortcuts like A to cut from the left to my cursor position, or S. B, A, B, A. And then I can also add fades. So once I've done my cuts, and I'm happy with how they were done, I can go ahead and then I can click on either D. This adds a fade from the left to my cursor. Or I can click on G. G adds a fade from the right to my cursor. Left to my cursor, right to my cursor, G. That's essentially it. That's the name of the game. That is how you get fast, is these shortcuts, especially those ones. The A, S, D, and G keys. Okay, so I don't need to drag and drop these fades in. I can just click those shortcuts. Okay. So now that's one way I can do my chops. Get really fast at it. Right. G, G, F. That's all that it is. And if you want to practice this, you just do a few recordings in the DAW, and you can just add these fades in, just using those keys. Okay. Now, besides the cuts and the fades using A, S, D, and G, or my B button, and my zoom in with my E, I have a few other things I can do. Okay. I can unselect the multi-tool here, and I can select mainly just the move tool. So this will just only move clips. There's no region anymore. It's just moving the clips. And then I can go here in the razor select tool. This will be only just cutting and selecting. Okay. Whole sections here. I can only just cut. I can't move any clips when I'm in this tool. And then there's the trim tool. Okay. Only trims from left and right. All these clips. Now, if I wanted, let's say I had an audio clip and it's very long. Okay, so let's undo a few of these changes here. There you go. Back to the beginning. So now if I have to move, let's say, all these files, right? Not move them, but I have to do things to them at the same time. I can actually mute and solo all these clips by either selecting, shift-clicking all the clips I want muted, and then doing the action. I can also do so under this window here, which is labeled the Track Manager window. I just want the blue ones to be muted. Boom. Just the blue ones, not the red one. Okay. And now let's say I had a clip here. I want to navigate this clip. What I can do is, you'll see there's this selection right over here. Tab to transients. So what happens is, if my cursor is right here and I click tab, it's going to go to each beginning portion that it can detect that's really loud. So this right here, this right here, this right here, this right here. It's going to move in between those clips. And that can be helpful, because what happens is, at the beginning, I just go here, tab. Skip this one, but there we go. Found that, found this, found that one, click B. Found that one, click B. Found one right here, click B. Found one right here, click B. And I can just use this as a way of going through audio clips, especially if there's a lot of silence. So now all these are all separated, right? And I can be forgiving because I have the ability to change the edits in between for how far those splits are supposed to be. And that's really helpful here, right? Just to do as a correction. So this can help you right off the bat with doing your edits. Because now this one's not really playing so nice. That's okay. Click B, delete. So right there, I can also split, especially if this is like 8 hours. Let's just say it's 8 hours of dialogue. Clicking tab, going through when there's moments of silence. That can be very helpful. Okay. And then there's also these settings here. So if I use ripple, what happens is, you can see it moves everything in front to keep the shape. That can be very useful right here. Okay. So now all these move together. Ripple all, as you can see here. Let's go ahead and zoom out of this. If I had a look outside, it's doing it to every file. See that? So let's do ripple again. Ripple, just one clip, doesn't move. But this one here, if there is splits on this right here, keeps them in order. So when you already do all your edits and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, like I already split these up. Now I want to move them. How can I do it in a way where it keeps them together? Well, now you have multiple ways to do so. You can go ahead and shift click and then move them. Or you can use the ripple and then move them that way. No need to shift click. Okay. And then if we look at the snap without snap, you can see here it goes straight in. There's no like resistance. Zoom in on that. There's no resistance. If I go ahead and click snap, right there, see, snaps right into place. It's kind of light though. Boom, right there. I can add my crossfades as needed. These are two separate clips. Okay, so now that is adding a little bit more help to the toolkit. Okay, of going in and out of editing. And that's just editing. Okay. Now there's a bunch of other things here, like there's like a spectrogram that you can see. There's peaks mode. As you can see here. Okay, and this is all analysis really. These are things that this heat map just shows other information as required. It's like a color. There's a way for you to switch between here. You can see in a spectrogram what's going on, just like on Audacity, which is wonderful, right? And this can be helpful because it can show breaths. Right? There's a breath before this line. So I can see things like that with the spectrogram. That's really, really helpful, especially if you're trying to edit those out. Okay. And that's pretty much it. And then there's notes. You can put some notes here. Track notes, right, for Ishmael RX, the one that I have highlighted. I can lock it or not. Recorded with a snowball. I can put that note in there. If I highlight this one, I can look at the notes. No notes. Click on the Ishmael RX. Okay, cool. I know that this was recorded with a snowball. Right? So these are all little edits that you can add just to make the workflow better. And especially those notes. These notes are huge. Like if you're in a studio and you're wondering, what microphone did I use? What preamp did I use? What distance did I use? For recording artists, or recording engineers, that's really, really important to us, is keeping note of all those decisions. Okay, so that's editing. That's editing and using this window for now. There's a bunch of other features. There's so many features here, right? That exist. And honestly, again, Brendan has a bunch of really good videos. He's the one that made RIA tools, this configuration. So if you have any other questions, honestly, watching a tutorial or two from him or looking at the notes, he has a PDF on his website that covers some of the changes that he does with this and all this stuff. That's really what's really fantastic about this configuration. And what I really like too is this button. I turned this off and all of a sudden, right here, it's going to be different. All the binds won't work. So if I click B, it's back to normal. Right there, see? No cuts when I click my B button, and it might cut when I click my B button. So you can switch between the Reaper shortcuts and the RIA tooled shortcuts. That's what I really like about that. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. We're going to be going onward in the other videos, talking about some effects, how to look at the mix window, how to open it, all that stuff. Right now we're currently in the edit window, and then we're going to see what to do on that forefront.